Have you wondered why I have used several philosophical and theoretical frameworks, so to speak about Palestine? Let me explain why and how theory and philosophy can help us understand the real-world issues better. Now, the way we understand reality, of course, is with our mind and with how we feel about things. But most of the times we approach the world with preformed preferences or prejudices or ways of seeing the world. That is what we call me, right? But most of the times we naturalize it. We assume that the way I think about the world is something natural, and that's how everyone else ought to see the world too. But if you look at research that delves into how human consciousness is shaped and how our actions are informed, we know that most of what we believe about the world is socially constructed through our education, through our interactions with others, and through our reading habits or media consumption habits. Now, if we kept that in mind, then it becomes easily understandable as to why I am looking at Palestine from so many different angles through so many different philosophical and theoretical ways of seeing the world. So if you look at my video where I used Frantz Fanon's psychoanalytical approach to understanding colonialism, that is one way of expanding our what is termed a perceptive mass, the mass of knowledge that shapes our consciousness before we approach a given reality. So if we have read Fanon or understand a little bit of how Fanon theorizes resistance, but also more importantly, how does he theorize through his clinical research, of course, as to what happens to the psyche of the colonized, that gives us one tool to understand the nature of belligerent or contestatory relationship between Israelis and Palestinians. Now, it's not immutable, it's not comprehensive or etched in stone, but it's one method of looking at the world. And we learn it by reading Fanon and then by trying to locate that method and its way of giving us insights into the lived reality of Palestinian people. In another video, I use Paulo Freire, especially Freire's focus on love, right? Love for Freire is not possessive love. It's not masochistic love. It's love between equals. And I use that to point out, let's say, to our activist friends, to our activist siblings, that if we guide our advocacy for Palestine out of love for Palestine, it is likely to have more efficacy and it's likely to have more of an impact. Then in one of my videos, I went to framing, something that was theorized by George Lakoff. So the basic idea there is that we think in frames. The words we speak about a given topic, especially in a contest of wills or a debate, those are within a frame. So if we understood which frame we are speaking in, then we can constantly fight within that frame. So the idea was that our advocacy of Palestine could very easily be posited within the frame of love for Palestinian people. So that's yet another example of using another set of tools from another scholar and their research to understand the same issue, that of the rights of the Palestinian people. So overall then, I am a post-colonialist. I use all kinds of theoretical approaches to understand literary texts, but also the real-world realities. I learned in my life that as I read more and tried to understand more theory and more philosophy, my worldview expanded, and the way I experience the world and think about it also altered and expanded. That is why I am offering these brief videos using different theoretical ways, philosophical ways of thinking about humanity, thinking about resistance, and thinking about advocacy for Palestinian people. So the general message then is the more we learn about language, about politics, about history, but more importantly, the more philosophical we are in our thinking, the more complex would be our engagement with any given topic, any given reality of the world. And the same applies to our approach to Palestinian rights, to self-determination, and to saving lives in Gaza. So I thought I should offer this brief explanation as to why I am coming to the same place, Palestine, from so many different angles. Because that's what I do as a scholar, but also I think that's what we all ought to do to train our minds and our consciousness in an expansive mode where we are committed to the cause, but we can look at it through different angles and then see which one is more convincing and which one would be more effective in our advocacy for Palestine. That's all. I hope you all are well. Stay safe. Take care. And as always, I will now see you next time. Until then, as always, peace and love.